What's good, YouTube? This is Gorilla Lakers back with another video and another preseason game in the books. Another loss for the Lakers, unfortunately. But still, the main purpose of preseason is still getting done. We're getting to see a lot of these young guys out there on the floor, seeing different lineups and how they work together. And I'm going to be smoking hookah throughout this, because I just wanted to jump right into this video after the game. And there's very few things to me that are better than hookah with a Laker game on. So I'll try muting the mic every time I take a hit so it's not too disruptive. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and move into the video topics. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was Robert Upshaw. He actually got more run, at least in my opinion, I think, minutes-wise than the other previous games, preseason games. And he did show signs that he can be a rim protector. I think he had. Let me see here. How many blocks did he have? I know he had at least one. Blocks against. Okay. Oh, okay. So he had 2 blocks. Not too bad here. Sorry, I was just checking the box score to make sure I wasn't giving you an incorrect number or anything. But yeah, he showed signs of being a potential rim protector, which you would expect from a 7+ footer. And the biggest thing that stood out to me, unfortunately, about Upshaw was a negative. And speaking about 7-footers, very slow out there. And I don't just mean speed. Like, of course, you don't anticipate 7-footers dribbling up the court, one-man fast break speed, and maximum speed overall is usually low. But I'm just talking about like game IQ, like basketball IQ, and things in general. Like the play that stood out to me, where I legitimately wrote it down that I wanted to talk about it, was there was a foul on the play. I forgot who got fouled on the Raptors, and they were going to the free throw line, and Upshaw was preparing for an out of bounds play, even though everyone was lined up for the free throw. Even the free throw shooter and the referee was prepared, and Upshaw was guarding him like he was ready for the inbound pass. So very slow reactions there. I don't know if it's just nerves, which is a possibility, of course, but definitely those are the type of things you don't want to see, and those are the small type of things that can change the course of a game. When we get to crunch time and when we get to important minutes later in the season, if we get to the playoffs, you can't have lapses like that, because that mistaken inbounds play or something to that effect could be a lapse of judgment on defense, not being aware of the offensive set. And those games that we lose by like 2 or 3 points and stuff like that can be solved by avoiding needless errors. They're usually go hand in hand with slow decision making and stuff like that, slow processing of what's going on the field, on the court. So not a good sign in my opinion there, but definitely did see some good signs from Upshaw and his big man ability. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It's just one game. You can't really draw too many conclusions off of one game with extended minutes. But I look forward to seeing more of this kid. Once again, I say kid. It sounds so strange. But seeing more of this kid, and I look forward to that, honestly. All right, so Meta World Peace, we saw some more of him in action tonight, and I gotta say, I kind of enjoy it. I don't know why. Like, there are some big issues that I've always disliked about Meta World Peace. His seemingly lack of being able to control the basketball. Like, he probably has some of the worst handles I've seen for a wing player, even though he plays more inside, but nonetheless, he's a small forward. He's probably has some of the worst handles I've seen in a long time for a small forward. And it just shows. Like, there's some possessions where he makes the shots that he takes or the passes that he makes so much harder than they have to be, just by being slightly out of control or slightly losing control of the ball at the last second. So that's a little bit unfortunate for Meta. I mean, this guy's a veteran. You know, those are types of things that should be solved by this point of his career. But nonetheless, he was still as intense as ever. You know, crashing the boards, hitting the floor a couple times. You know, those are the type of things I love about Meta. He's going to always bring up the energy of the team and his teammates on the floor floor with him. So I do want to see more Meta before I make like a final evaluation as to whether we should make his contract permanent or not. But tonight I definitely saw some good things. I saw some bad things to go along with that. So that would be Meta's performance. Julius Randle, you know, sticking to the similar type of players. Randle has those handles. He made some amazing plays tonight. Once again, driving to the center of the lane and putting up that little. It's sort of a floater, but it's kind of like one of those big man floaters where it's a leaner. It's a very strange shot that he has in his arsenal, but he's been converting it at a pretty good rate. You know, tonight he shot 7 for 10, so 70% from the field. Whenever you get anything above 60%, it's a fantastic night. So he was definitely aggressive, not just on the boards tonight, but offensively very efficient, which I think is going to be key for his career. And you know, looking ahead in the future of the Lakers, his efficiency will for sure be an issue. I think an important topic for him and an important area for him. I'm sorry. And I liked what I saw tonight. He seemed to have more than that crossover. He had hesitations. He has a little bit of slashing ability off the ball as well. You know, we had that nice play where he brought it up the floor, gave it to Clarkson, and then cut immediately to the basket, and Clarkson found him for the easy layup. You know, those are the type of plays that you, if you don't draw them up and they just happen innately or naturally, that's fantastic. That just shows teamwork. That shows floor awareness from both of the players involved. And definitely would love to see more of that coming from Julius Randle in the future. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, so big topic of this video. Defensive woes. So I definitely noticed our lack of defense more so tonight against the Raptors than I did previously against the Jazz. Now, obviously, it's been an issue that's been plaguing us going back a couple seasons now. Our lack of defense, our allowance of other teams, allowance, other teams, and us allowing them to get the shots that they want out there. Now, I understand not everyone is a defensive stopper. You can't always have guys out there, you know, big men that can block shots or guards and wing players that can get their hands in passing lanes or steal the ball off of dribbling moves. I understand not everyone is able to at this level, especially when the offensive ability of most people in the NBA is just off the charts. Like once they get to that level, it's very tough to stop that level of player defensively. But this is something that's easily fixable. I mean, there's lapses on defense where players, and like I said, this has been going on for a couple of these. I've seen this consistently throughout these 3 preseason games. They do not switch on screens, and that obviously is something that shouldn't be happening. When it happens and you look at the faces of Kobe Bryant, when you look at the faces of Byron Scott and the rest of the coaching staff on the sideline, they notice it. So I do think it's something that will be fixed as the season progresses, but for right now it's definitely a big issue because these guys are giving up 2 points, and you know, 2 points every time that happens at least, or let's say 1 point if they get fouled or what have you. But when it happens 5 to 6 times a game, that's at least 5 to 10 points if it's not a three that they hit. So that adds up, especially when you look at the final score, 105 to 97. Those five mismatches on defense or lapses of judgment could be pointed to as a reason you lose. So, with that said, as I mentioned, I that is something that will most likely be fixed by the coaching staff. They're going to pound it into their heads, into their memory, that they're going to have to switch. And a lot of that comes down to communication. And I think that's an issue with defense overall in the bigger picture. Is it's something that can be solved with, hey, screen coming, switch. One word, switch. That's all. That's all. It takes, like, how long did it take me? Maybe a second? A second to say switch? So it it's something that will not only help exactly what I'm talking about, switching on screens and pick and roll situations on defense and stuff like that, but just in general, if you're going against a guy that's a back cutter, like let's say Kyle Korver or other shooters of his nature. I know Ronald Murray. I think he's retired as of late, but Ronald Murray was also a very, very good person at doing this, and it's something needs that the veterans need to step up and say, hey, be talkative. Tell these youngsters that saying a couple of key words can help a defensive possession, possibly create a turnover and get you more points. So there's no better offense than great defense. I know it's usually the other way around, but nonetheless. So yeah, last thing I want to talk about in this video, Lou Williams. So he led us tonight in scoring, I believe. Let me take a look at the box score here. Lou Williams, yeah, he had 19 points for us off the bench. Not very efficient shooting once again. He did go to the line 7 times, which is very nice from point guard off guard. But I just feel that he can be. I don't necessarily. I wouldn't necessarily say more aggressive or anything like that. But I just feel he's a little bit timid, a little bit too timid for his skill set. He has handles. The guy can dribble the ball with better than most point guards I've seen, and he plays the 2 and the 1 for us. So I really, really feel like he's cutting himself short. I think that if he's a little bit more eager to drive into the lane, not only will it set up more scoring opportunities for himself, getting to the line like he did tonight, but it'll also set up more plays for other guys that we have down low. Julius Randle's a perfect example. The guy is hustling all over the court, always crashing the offensive board. Same thing with Hibbert recently as well. So even if Lou Williams just draws the pressure to him, and then dishes it off, whether it's a little wraparound pass, a bounce pass, a little alley-oop or something like that, a lob, that can create a lot of offensive pressure for the Lakers and, keep the defense guessing. And I think that's something that will be utilized throughout the season, being able to drive. I have a feeling Kobe is, although he's saying that he wants to play more of a spot up role, I think he'll realize that the team does need some things going to the basket and will take over those duties. But I want to see it from Lou Williams, and to a smaller extent Nick Young as well. I think he has the handles and the overall wing strength, like just body strength and positioning, to be able to drive to the basket more. So I want to see those two guys kind of step it up, put the burden on their shoulders to create a shot for themselves instead of just settling for outside jumpers, which they can hit. But, we all know it's a lot easier to hit a shot driving into the lane from 8 feet than it is to hit a spot up 35 footer. Well, that's a long ass 3, but spot up 25 footer off the dribble with a defender in your face. So that being said, it was another loss for the Lakers tonight, which is unfortunate, but I do still see signs of improvement, even if it's slow, slow-paced improvement, but it's a good sign. So you can't really hate on it. We get to see a lot of these young guys in action, which is fantastic, and I am eagerly awaiting our next game, which we are actually playing, and I want to say an Israeli team. I'm not 100% sure what exactly country they're from, but I'm extremely excited for that game. I want to see what the Lakers can do against international opponent, and I want to see what the international opponent can do against us too. So it'll be an exciting game. Definitely be on the lookout for the review on that Sunday. And that's going to be pretty much it for this video. Hope you enjoyed, everyone. Remember to leave a like for the video if you did like it. Comment down below if you want to discuss anything else. And this has been Gilbert, Lala Lakers. Talk to you later. Have a good one.